Welcome to my brand new second-hand project.
Okay, let's go.
If you know what that means, you know. If you don't know, I will give you a hint. Brand new because it is the first time I am on this job. Second-hand because somebody else have started this exact roof that I'm right now. So what they have done is they haven't prepared the sheets. A couple of weeks they've been on the job, the progress haven't been very well. So the contractor, Crossman Group, very well spotted the issue on time before it's too late and dragged the project to absolute nightmare. And they called us to come and pick up this project and get it finished and get it properly done by the specification of Euroclad. This is a VO standing seam system. It's pretty simple, really. To be honest, I haven't done this system for 5 years, but before I come on this job after it was called, the day before, I just went to the website and I just went through all the drawings, the guidelines of installation and everything that Euroclad provides from this specific system, and I just familiarized myself. So now I know exactly where I am. So what the other subcontractor have done is they started from that end over there, yeah, and when they did, they assumed the slope is in a perfect line, but it isn't. So what they should have done is, we have a wall of SFS at the bottom, so they could have taken a mark from the bottom and the top, mark it, then stretch 4 meters at the bottom, 4 meters at the top, do your diagonals and find your perfect square. Once you got your square, you can put your string line at the bottom and you can get your sheet straight line. Now these sheets are straight line, we already repaired them. The other issue they've done is they've let the sheets unprepared on the roof installed. So what we had to do is we had to walk on top of all the slopes with the skew saw and cut the sheets because they were sticking about 300 millimeters from the top. But nevertheless, we said the client we're going to complete these slopes in 5 days, and then afterwards we have level 3 some slopes to do. The other thing was, there's some roof lights here. If you come with me, we have on a couple of slopes, I think there are in total 6 roof lights, where all the materials from VELUX, they're on site, and the building was bleeding from water, like non-stop. There was water inside the building, so they didn't care about somebody else's problem. That's the previous contractor, and what they did is just carry on with sheets without any of the membrane that's provided from VELUX. This obviously goes first, and then the sheet comes on top of it. Then we have other flashings from the VELUX, which is provided with instructions. It's actually pretty good. I've never done it, but we've done one. We can go over there and I'll show you how it looks like. So this is basically what it looks like after you've got a flashing. The membrane is underneath. You've got flashings on here. They all interlock. You put your standing seam inside that flashing, and it has like a U section like that. So the standing seam essentially goes inside. So any water comes from here. Standing seam is on top of that flashing, goes on top of that flashing. Even if it goes in between here, like I explained you, is a U section. Standing seam is like that. Water, even if it goes, you will just go to the standing seam all the way down. So now the building, even the rest of the slopes, they're not completed. We have the membrane that is provided from VELUX. We have put all the membrane the first day we came here, so we make sure this building does not leak, because it's been leaking for far too long. And honestly, since December, it's been raining every single day pretty much. So now I think the client is pretty happy that it's not leaking. Obviously that could have been done way sooner, because they're just delaying it like that. If it leaks, people can't actually do their job. So nevertheless, we are that far. We've got 2 more slopes. The boys are doing basically this slope here. So we're getting this one now, today. And then tomorrow we have 2 more slopes, level 4. It's only Wednesday, so I'm pretty confident by Friday we're going to get these slopes done. They're all going to be prepped. We'll take the seaming tool, run the machine up the slope, zip them all, and job well done. After that, we've completed all these slopes. We go down to the cladding, because we have same product but on the wall. So we're going to get the cladding, and we're going to enjoy along the way, and you're coming with us to have a look. Tommy, look what I have to deal with, mate. I just don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. Why you didn't put it? Probably a lot of you will think, what does it matter if the line here is going to be straight or the line up there is going to be straight? Well, it matters, it's just aesthetic. But check this out, string line, check it out. straight as it can be. Good job, boys, good job, good job. These two slopes we just done today, boys are moving. It's only 10:30, moving to that slope. We're just prepping the sheets for them here. We've got a few more there. Me and Victor are prepping them, folding the bottom, folding the top, cutting the sheets to the right length, bending them at the top as you can see over there, getting these done. Once we get all these slopes, we're gonna start zip them. Alright, so this is how we do this. Basically, to establish a straight line on these standing seams, we have that wall. Now, this is not a normal standard rain screen cladding with helping hand brackets where you can play with the rails and make your cavity and whatnot. This is cavity 255mm. We have an angle that goes over here, which is 17mm from the face of the standing seams that's here. So we can get a point from here out, a point from the ridge out, and establish a straight line for these standing seams. Once we do that, we get the string line, put it the same distance from the roofing where it's overlapping here underneath the sheets. So basically we overlapping 200mm from the standing seam down of the flat roof. We do the same on the other end over there, and once we do that, we have a string line which we can follow in. All right, Thursday morning, another rainy day, but that is not going to stop us of completing these slopes with standing seams. So what we have basically is, boys are finishing that slope, I would reckon about an hour. Dave, the crane operator, is going to lift us the next sheets for those slopes that they're behind me here. We're going to try to get probably that slope and that slope. Me and Victor is going to start cutting the sheets and prepping them over there so we can line these two slopes as well, and hopefully we can start that one. And yeah, tomorrow it looks like we might be able to finish everything here. We have two more slopes down there at the beginning, but at the minute they are not priority, because what we need is to get to these slopes, get the scaffolders to remove that and adapt the scaffold for us, so we can go basically down here. Underneath there is a wall cladding of standing seam that we need to put with the rock bar, a little bit of a different system, but we'll show you on due course. So until that, let's crack on with standing seams. We bend the sheet at the bottom, we bend the sheet at the top, and we just carry on like that. This is your perfect line. Don't assume this slope is in a perfect line, because they never are. They just never are. So me and Victor continuing with those sheets to cut them. Then what we need to do is, scaffolders are coming tomorrow, so the priority is today to get that slope as well, finish it, so we don't need to walk anymore on top of it. The scaffolders are going to come, they're going to strip that scaffold away so we can build the cladding on top over here of that slope. And yeah, that's probably going to be next week, but anyway, we want the scaffolders to get this so we are free and we don't need to walk anymore on that slope. What's going to be left for tomorrow is going to be that slope, and there are two more slopes down there. Now when we came on Monday here, we saw what has been done. Obviously there were a couple of slopes that were installed by the previous contractor which we needed to take off, because what they did is they didn't put a string line obviously, and they started 200mm from one end with the standing seams, and then at the end they end up about 100mm higher than what they should be. So the standing seam is not anymore overlapping 200mm from the flat roof, so we needed to take those off and put them back on. We also needed to cut the one, I think there was two slopes that they've installed, but they didn't prep the sheets like the same way we do. We measure the slopes and we know what the length of the standing seam is, so when we put it, we don't need to go and walk over the slope and cut them. So we've done that, and I said to the client, listen mate, 4 of us, I am pretty confident by Friday, which is tomorrow, we're gonna get all your standing seams installed on these slopes, and that's what we're about to do. So basically what the other contractor haven't done is, he bent the bottom of the sheets like we did here, but he didn't cut on the right size the standing seam, and he didn't bend them upwards like we do it now, you know. I don't know why. I think they thought it's gonna be easier to just cut them later, but it wasn't easy, because I've done it yesterday and it wasn't easy walking on this standing seam while it was raining. They're just slippery, you can't just easily walk on them. So this is how it's prepped, the standing seam, at least in my opinion. You know what the funny part of this is? I haven't done standing seams for probably 5 years, and when I did, it was when I started my business. I was a site manager, and then came to a point where the subcontractor that was hired wasn't doing the job correctly. So I offered my contract manager, mate, listen, I'm going to open a company and I'm going to supply it with labor. I'm going to manage the job and I'll get the job done. So that's what we did, and that's when we had standing seam. So it's been 5 years, but all I needed to do is just go to the website of Euroclad. Is all the guidelines are there, like they explain everything step by step, what tools you need, where you need to bend, what flashing, how many fixings, spacing of fixings, absolutely everything that you need to put a standing seam. And it's pretty simple. You just go for an hour to spend just to read over it, and yeah, you get it done. So that's what we did, and that's why we're doing it. Friday, already 5 days in Bristol, 122 Bath Road, just down the road here, a main road. This project actually has a very good location, to be honest, because it's only 6 minutes down the road to the city center just there. You've got the river down there. So yeah, 31 apartments to be built, affordable apartments from Crossman Group, who are the principal contractor, who are the client of ours. And yeah, we have done almost what we said we're gonna do. We couldn't actually complete all of the slopes because it just took so long time to figure out how we're gonna get the flashings, the VELUX flashings. It was a little bit of a bollock, but we figured them out. We got them in now over there. We've done that. Then we needed to go back basically over there, cut all the sheets that they were sticking out from the previous contractor. We've done that. Victor is now basically bending the sheets at the top because they were cut. They weren't prepared like we do normally on our slopes and the slopes where the boys are finishing now. That's why it took a bit longer time, but what we have done is pretty much 90% because we only have one slope and we're going to try to finish that on Monday by lunchtime. I'm pretty confident that we're going to do that. There's a lot of cutting in there because you have the lift shaft, you have some roof lights and stuff like that, but we'll get this done. Then we have level 3. There is a slope down here, as you can see, a small slope in here, another slope in there, and then we have basically that big slope which looks like about 4 meter probably length of sheet. We'll get this done. The sheets are down there. We'll get Dave with the crane down there. He's gonna lift them up for us. We'll get them done. We're gonna have one team putting the standing seam, one team putting the ridge and everything on this roof, finish them off. As you can see, boys are almost finishing this slope now. We're gonna get started this one actually from here because that slope took a lot of time yesterday. Let me show you what happened. So all of the slopes, we started them from here, and we did basically a measurement from the cladding wall below to make sure we're going on a straight line and we finish correctly. But on this one we couldn't do it. Now, first of all, that roof light, they weren't able to actually put it completely square with the slope. So it is not square with the slope. It's a bit on an angle like that. So as you can see, we have a 400mm sheet here, and at the bottom we're finishing on 290mm. We bend it, we put the brackets that allow us a space basically to put the Z and then put the flashing on the eaves. Have a look how we're leaving our valleys in between the slope. Have a look, have a look, have a look here. Everywhere is clean. All these are stacked with the heavy duty scaffold and timbers. All the valleys, everything is clean, spotless, so I can sleep without issues that anything is gonna fly down on the road. When the boys said we want to go home, we'll go home, but for now we're gonna crack on. We've been through some hell of a weather this week. It's been raining every single day. That couldn't stop us neither. So if you enjoy the graft here that we're putting on, if you enjoy the work we're doing, the skill we have, what we show, how we do it, well, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. If you have something to say, you can comment below, and I'll see you on the next video.